Hello my Broodwar brothers and welcome back to the KCM Day 14. The second match in the round of 4 with Team Hero versus Team Light. I'm really looking forward to this match here, so let's take a look at the lineup. Everything's been changed since the first half finals. This is going to be a rematch between Team Hero and Team Light. That first finals was amazing. Definitely encourage you guys to go back. It was Day 8. In that matchup, we saw TVT, we saw ZVZ, and we saw Ruin going up against Mong, as well as Hero facing off against Mind. This time, everything's been changed. Which matchups are you looking forward to here, Shun?
I mean, I've probably got to just... It's got to be Killer versus Mong, Sakshi versus Light, Denzi versus Anna is going to be exciting, Hero, Ruin, pretty much every single game actually. I'm just going to say every single game I'm looking forward to.
In that last finals, we saw Sharp versus Light, and Sharp almost managed to take that game off of Light. It was so incredibly close on Apocalypse, and now he's going to be going up against Mind here. So we will have just that one mirror matchup, I guess, Sharp versus Mind. I'm really looking forward to that match because Sharp did so well that last time.
He's very aggressive and so good in his control as well. And the way he uses vultures, it definitely will be interesting to see if we get to some kind of like vulture war with Mind. Mind's a very genius level player though, so he might be able to try and navigate away from Sharp's strengths in that game as well.
La Campanella can be pretty oppressive for whoever loses control of the center. Let's talk a little bit about Light versus Saxry. How do you think Saxry is going to fare on Apocalypse?
I mean, Saxry's a very solid macro player. I really don't feel like he's going to be up to the caliber that Light can dish out though. I just don't feel like... I think any kind of timing push that Light deals to him, I think, is going to be pretty strong. The longer the game goes on, I think also that it goes way more Light favored, and Saxry's strengths so more to the mid to late game phases, and unfortunately that's really not like good for us against someone like Light. And the win percentages of Terran only get better with time until the very late games of the phase. So I think overall it favors Light so heavily, I don't think Saxry has much of a chance.
It'd be tough to get into Defiler here against Light, and I kind of feel the same way with Hero versus Ruin, that the overwhelming favorite here is going to be Hero, and that may just go to the team captain, that matchup on either side. Light probably going to win his matchup, Hero probably going to win his matchup, but the rest of these matches are going to be a toss-up. I really want to see Cadenzi do well here. She's been struggling really hard lately to pick up a win.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be a Hydra bust again, or some kind of contain. Yeah, I really don't feel like we're going to see too much different from Denzi. I would like to be proven wrong with that, but we have to wait and see.
I'll be cheering for Cadenzi here. Going to jump into our first match, Hani versus Kahiri. At first PVZ, let's get it going. And so it begins. Probably one of the best matchups that we have in this tournament. Team Light versus Team Hero. It was amazing in the first half finals. I think it's going to be a great day here as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to have an absolutely fantastic day here, saying I'm really excited to see a rematch between these two teams. The first one was so good, and I imagine that regardless of what happens here, we're going to at least see a few stellar games from these players, and what a way to kick it off. Cross-map positions as EVP as well, so we're going to be seeing anything too crazy in the early game from these two players. Looks like no kind of crazy early pull timings, and just a very quick, normal forge fast expansion style of play here from Team Hero as well. So hopefully we get like kind of like a mid-game phase here. I want to see a nice little ZVP on Vermeer. It's a great map for this matchup. I really like how the ridge lines kind of allow the Zerg player to kind of control the flow of the game, but eventually there are a lot of counterattack options available to Protoss.
Yeah, and this map, this matchup, in these positions on this map especially, the distance here is so large, it's going to be very hard to pull off a Hydra bust, and especially here now that we've got view of the Hani natural, it is a forge fast expand and a horizontal expansion as well, which is just that much harder to bust. So I think we probably will be getting into that later game, as you stated here. Let's see where Kahiri scouts first, when she's going to find out about this forge. Because she doesn't really need any lings in the early game. She just needs to be pumping drones and getting that third hatch as soon as possible. Ooh, Nexus right after Forge.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. She does go into the main base and confirms the slightly slower pull timing, so she knows she's extra safe against that. One thing interesting to note, though, is that maybe Kahiri could have done better here with hiding this Overlord, second Overlord. The scouting pattern I don't like because she's giving away that she's not 9 pull, so it actually kind of makes Hani's build way more optimized. If she'd like hidden the second Overlord better, then it actually kind of like throws Hani off a little bit. Maybe like this Nexus doesn't go down. Instead, she makes a cannon or something, and then she has to cancel the cannon, and she's a little bit behind.
Well, she's got the Nexus down here. She will be getting into her economy. I feel like this is a great position to be in as a Protoss player. It's not like you're in a serious advantage here, but we still don't have the scout for Kahiri yet. She'll have to build some lings. Looks like she's only built 2. Realizing that there's not going to be any zealot pressure here, despite not getting the scout on the natural just yet. And Hani's just going to keep this probe alive. Focus on keeping the probe alive and staying here until there's 100 gas in the bank. We've already almost got that, so she will end up seeing the layer in just a moment. There it is. I like to morph the layer over at the third base in this type of situation. What do you think about that, Shun?
I mean, it's great to hide what you're doing from the Protoss player, obviously. There are some very niche situations where they actually come back to bite you if they do some kind of like Zealot drops into the main or DT drops into the main, which eventually they target down the hatchery, and having less HP on the main hatchery can sometimes be an issue. But overall, I would say it's good to hide intel from the Protoss player at all costs. So I kind of do like the idea of making it the third, but personally, I kind of lean away from it sometimes.
Yeah, I think that you might as well take advantage of the fact that you were forced to build your second hatchery over at the third base. It's far away from where the probe is scouting, but Hani revealing, or getting all that information, Kahiri revealing that to her. She knows it's going to be a normal game here, and we'll have to see whether Kahiri wants to mix things up and go for mutas, or does she want to just get herself into a good economic spot and build up to a 6-hatch Hydra play.
Yeah, I mean, it's very strong in the meta, and it does allow you to get this just crazy amount of Hydra lists that you need to overrun the Protoss player, and also does afford you the opportunity to just go right into Ogre Zerg and just make a lot more Scourge, a lot more Mutas, and kind of punish the Protoss player that way as well. It's a very flexible way of playing. It's very strong. I wonder if Kahiri has the mechanics required to pump out that crazy amount of Hydras that you see someone like Sulky produce. Obviously not, but you do need to produce so many Hydras. Or maybe catching this probe very nice early on. It's not too surprising though. She already has Link speed. But any denial of Scout right now is huge because she will not feel safe coming out with the Zealots anymore. So she'd have to rely on only the Corsairs for scouting, and that is very a dark situation for the Protoss players. You don't know how many cannons you need to make. You don't know how exactly what units you might need eventually. So do you need to keep making Corsairs, for example? You could just lose this first Corsair for free to Scourge popping out. So there's a lot of uncertainty for the Protoss player at this phase of the game.
But uncertainty here for Kahiri as well. She pulled that Overlord back pretty early, not sending that in for the scouting information in the main base, and she's not going to see a Citadel has been finished. Everything looks pretty normal here for Hani, but that gateway count, it's good to know. It's good information to glean if you can get in there and see exactly what's going to be coming. You can kind of glean the timing here of what Hani wants to do from this position. Is she going to go for like a mass Zealot play? Is she going to be pumping non-stop Corsair and going right into a DT? It's kind of looking like that DT play from Hani's space right now.
It is looking like that, some kind of set DT style opening. I mean, we do see quite a lot of drones being produced from Kahiri right before going into full 6 hatchery production. I imagine we're probably going to see only just like, four Scourge initially. But with this slightly earlier second guess, she does kind of allow herself some opportunity to switch into a little bit of extra mutas, but probably not. Probably just a bare minimal amount of Scourge to kind of fend off the initial Corsair harass and then just go straight into a powerhouse of Hydra production, maybe giving herself like 5 to 6 mutas, maybe. She's making Sunkers right now, saying, so she actually might be making quite a lot of mutas here.
Yeah, the standard is 1 sunken at each base and then 5 mutas to help hold off the Zealots. You want the sunken colonies to tank the damage, the drones to kind of bug out the Zealots' AI, and then the mutas are going to be the damage dealers. to kill off the Zealots as quickly as possible. Of course, Ling's mixed in as well. Just going to help out a little bit. They were produced earlier on, so they are still going to be useful here. And look at that, pushing everything back. This is exactly what you want as Kahiri. And this just allows you to just continuously drone during the Zealot pressure. Zealots are going to fall all the way back across the map. And Kahiri's just going to be hitting that SD button as quickly as she possibly can to get that economy to where she can really start to pump 6-hatch Hydra.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she does want to make any more additional muse. It's like it's just that very standard way of playing this build, and she's doing such a good job of it thus far. Her execution's been pretty good. The only thing I've really seen that's been wrong is maybe a drone hiding underneath an overlord due to a rally point issue. And other than that, she's been pretty stellar with her macros. So looking pretty good. Lots of gateways being thrown down now for Hani, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like favoring the Zerg here. So.
Yeah, everything's still pretty standard. We'll have to wait for the first engagements here before we can really make a judgment as to who is ahead. Coming in here, hasn't killed any of these Corsairs, so the Corsair number is pretty strong, but has to respect the Scourge. There's about 6 Scourge here, ready to connect with any... Oh, wait, no, Overlord over here at the 3rd base. That could be a problem. DT is on the map. I think a bit of an oversight here for Kahiri. Let's see if Hani's able to take advantage.
Yeah, I think she might be a little bit lazy with her rally points and how she set up her overlords. Just a little bit too much if she's not going to have anything there. She's been a little bit lazy with how she's maneuvering her overlords. And this is very common for a lot of Zerg players. It's not just specific to Kahiri. This is an issue that does happen a lot of the times. You're producing overlords mainly from the main and natural hatcheries, and their rally points are in the natural. So you don't have anything at your 3rd base. So you need to make sure there is something there. So there's a big oversight, like you say. So really unfortunate that I don't think she's going to get punished for it necessarily, though. So she's kind of escaping devastation right now, but yeah, it would be really bad news bears for her if a single DT came in there, just wiped out the entire drone line.
Yeah, and she still doesn't have Overlord speed, so another oversight here for Kahiri. You really need to get that Overlord speed going so you can start to take more bases on the map, sending Overlords around. Like, she's been keeping them all at home because she's afraid of losing them to these Corsairs, but now you need to spread them around in order to, catch this DT, get rid of the DT, and, get in there and get some more bases going. Right now, she's going to dive into the main base, though. There's not that many Corsairs. Only 3 have been made, and this is a serious commitment to Muta here. Diving in on the main base, she's got a full stack of Mutas. Oh! Where did that storm come from? Where is that Templar right now? It must have been over top of the gas geyser. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Hiding behind the gas geyser. Did so much damage. Huge kills here on those Mutas.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful trick you can do as pros players, just to hide the Templar behind the assimilator like that. There's such a massive hidey hole. As you can see, you can just barely see that Templar, and when you're flying in with mutas, you're not even going to notice that. So you need to be careful, though. Could just lose all these mutas for free, just idling by right next to these Corsairs, and with just red HP, they will evaporate instantly to a single Archon shot, 1 Storm, or a few Neutron Flare blasts. So you need to be a little bit careful not losing all those mutas right now. Now, looks like Hani will be coming onto the map, putting on a lot of pressure and forcing a response from Kahiri. Kahiri's starting to mobilize her forces in the center of the map, but she's kind of maybe feeling a little bit sheepish right now. She needs to come around the back with these moves and see if she can swing in and snipe these Corsairs for free. Yeah, it's going to be a good little pick off from her, taking out the Corsairs like this. Now she can maybe come in and threaten the Templar once again. It's only a single Archon and Dragoons to escort, so there is still potential for sniping these High Templars, but it's not quite a critical mass of Hydras, though, required to take out this Protoss army all in one go. She needs to mobilize her entire army right now, so Kahiri's going to buy a little bit of time, get a lot more critical mass of Hydras out, and then just going to hopefully try and stomp Hani as she tries to take out 3rd.
Yeah, Hani's going to grab that 3rd right now. Coming back in with some more harassment. Going to go after some of these photon cannons, but the mutas are very low right now. They're dying off really quick to just a couple of blasts from those photon cannons. And now the number's been reduced by quite a bit. I think she can still snipe High Templars in one shot, but she's only building units right now. She has not secured a 4th base, and if Hani gets her 3rd online and there's still no 4th here for Kahiri, she's slowly going to start to fall behind in that economic battle.
Yeah, she actually just barely doesn't have enough to one-shot the Templar anymore, but that's okay. She can still get some value with these Mutas. She's sharking around with them. Seems she can come around here, maybe snipe some of these cannons being built, maybe the probe as well. Delaying this being more cannons being made will also be annoying for Hani here. she can swing back into the main base with these mutas, maybe snipe some of the tech buildings here, or at least force that issue to try and keep the army back at base as much as possible right now, while she's trying to squeeze out as many as possible. A beautiful storm dodge, actually not taking too many hit points of the damage onto those mutas, keeping Hani back right now. But Hani still just wants to expand to the 12 o'clock though, so wisely wants to try and double expand as soon as possible. And you do want to do that as Protoss. As soon as you secure this third, you want to just get that fourth as soon as possible. She has a mobilized army that she can fight the Zerg with, but it's still a very scary Zerg army. 160 supply to 142. There's 1-1 upgrades for the Protoss player, so she can still fight this, but it needs perfect storms. And if Kahiri can come around the behind and snipe any of these Templars, it's going to be almost impossible for her to win the fight. There's so many Zerg units, so she needs every storm here.
Yeah, Kahiri's really been massing up here. She has not spent any time securing a fourth base. She is getting ready for a huge attack, and this has to work here for Kahiri. She will have that fourth base now taken down at the bottom center, but she hasn't produced drones to fill out that base. Oh, coming in, getting a couple of Templar snipes right off the bat. A third Templar going to go down as well. That's huge, because this army coming forward from Kahiri now has a really good chance of stomping out some of these bases.
Yeah, she's really cognitive about that as well. She had 8 mutas, and she remade a single muta just so she could come back in and one-shot all the High Templars. So really playing mentally right now and not like slipping into autopilot. And it comes back in as well. That beautiful Storm as well, forcing Hani to storm her own units as well before losing all of those mutas. So it took out so many of the available storms for Hani. Just a single Templar with 90 NGS, one storm available in this standing army from this Protoss player. That's not going to be enough. And here comes Kahiri now. She's trying to use her mechanics to the best of her ability, making all of the Zerg units attack me across in one motion. It's very difficult to get all your units mobilized in one go, but she's doing a good enough job. Here comes the big engagement. There's only like one observer here as well. She snipes that. The lurkers have infinite value as well. Beautiful concave on the southern flank. There's just nothing that Hani can do to fight this. There's too many units. Without a splash, there's no way she can win against this. Trying to desperately retreat to the choke point up by her rally point, but it's not going to be quick enough. Even some hunters from the western flank coming in to try and cut off that retreat and put on more pressure to his units. Snipes the Archon as well. High Templar goes down. Just a few remaining Dragoons. There's going to be a lot of blue blood sound. I don't think she can hold it.
Yeah, I guess she's got some Templar kind of defending the outlying bases, so she does have some storms available, but they're not going to be enough. All of the Dragons have gone down. That's the backbone of the Protoss army. Looks like Kahiri is struggling to get all of her units moving once again, while also hitting her macro rounds here. She wants to keep this pressure on. So you can see all the rounds, or all the hatcheries have been rallied here to the front, right up to the natural, and Kahiri's going to push through. In this type of case, it's almost not even worth it to go for the outlying bases. You just go for the throat here, try to jump into that natural, kill the main base, and allow Hani, you know, those outposts where Templar are just randomly defending some cannons. You don't even need to break those as long as you get on top of the production here.
Yeah, Kahiri's flipped the turtle on the back and exposed the weak underbelly. And finally, Hani going to tap out. GG is called. First point going to Team Light.
Yeah, we see so many ZVPs end up like that, especially at the highest level of play, where Mutalisks become incredibly valuable by sniping down Templars before the large Hydralisk attack. It worked out fantastically there for Kahiri, and with Team Light now on the board, +1, we're going to jump into game number 2. Game number 2 here, Mong versus Killer. That was a pretty good ladies match.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal ladies match, in fact. I would even go so far as to say that's one of the best matches you should watch if you want to start to understand the fundamentals of how to win your ZVP games.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's a brutally difficult matchup, but well navigated there by Kahiri. And now we've got Killer versus Mong, so ZVT here on Tempest. What do you expect to come out of Killer here?
Well, it's Killer, so I imagine there'll be some kind of high execution, a little bit of meta play here, trying to abuse Mong in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's Mong though. I mean, Mong himself wants to probably just do some kind of like 8 racks 1-1-1. Might actually, do you know what? On this map, maybe not. Maybe Mong will surprise me and do something a little bit untoward. But I think Mong, no matter what, wants to try and get into some kind of like fast gas play here. Just a matter of how and why and when. But it looks like he's going to be just walling back here to the ramp after making the slightly forward racks to put on some pressure.
Yeah, that 8 racks play is so strong right now. It is basically done at all levels, even at the pro level. It's just really popular. Mong, we'll see if he wants to pull a bunch of SCVs with this, or if he just wants to put on pressure with, you know, 1-2 SCVs and then the Marines, you know, pushing forward, followed up by the Vulture. We'll see what the plan is here, but I think Mong may be going from 1-1-1 into mech play, because that seems to be his MO.
Right, that's exactly what I was essentially saying just a moment ago. We might even see something crazy out of him. We might see a very aggressive factory placement. We could even say, for example, make it at this like third natural gas to the west of Killer here and try and float that factory into the main base and make the Vultures directly into the base of Killer. That's also a possibility
So dirty.
here. Yeah, it's so dirty, it's so dirty. Killer may fall for it, but he's no slouch. I mean, Killer's a bit of a cheeser himself. He can definitely handle low economic games. So right now he might be in his element against Mong. If Mong wants to force this like early low economy style, then maybe that'll play a little bit into the hands of Killer. But I'm not sure Killer's too confident against mech if Mong wants to go for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many games between Killer and Mong, especially Killer and Mong with mech. Truly, this is going to be a new experience here. Mong coming up into the natural, looking for the first drone kill here. In order to really make this worth it, you need at least 2. 3 drone kills is what really makes it worth it, but 2 is probably going to put you even here with the Zerg player. Here comes that first kill. 1 kill has been secured. Second kill going to go down very quickly. Looks like a lot of these drones are bugging out. 3rd kill, 4th kill. Now we're in serious deficit territory here. This has worked out beautifully for Mong, and the Lings are going to hit here, just barely killing that bunker in time, but not really cleaning up these Marines too efficiently. There we go. Now finally going to finish them off. And with the overwhelming number of Lings here, Killer will be able to push everything back. He was producing drones after this, so he does still stand a chance here. You know, he wasn't overproducing Lings here, but 4 drones, you're going to be feeling amazing right now as Mong.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that Killer has going for him is that it's okay that the sunken is too late, because Mong took a little while to lift up his barracks, and also there's some slowlings that might buy him enough time for the sunken to finish. There's no way that the Vulture will kill him. But the bad news is that he's probably dead anyway, because he lost way too many drones. So he did kill the Marines, so there's a little bit of consolation prize there, but the Marines aren't really that integral to Mong anymore. It kind of just means that he takes his expansion a little bit more awkwardly later, but at the moment he's happy. He can't be thankful for this position enough. Like if he gave him a choice to play this position or another position, Mong would be just like trying to tear your hand off to try and get this position against any Zerg.
Absolutely, Mong. This is exactly the way that he expected this game to go, that he planned for this series here, or this set on Tempest. Follow-up is from Killer. I like it, going right into Hydralisk play. You're not going to be able to get into Muta in time to deal with these Wraiths here. So getting into Hydra, getting into Hydralisk range right away is going to deal with both problems that you could have here, which is Vultures running by or being dropped into the main, and then the Wraiths obviously trying to snipe these Overlords. Looks like he's going to for sure lose 1 Overlord out here on the map, which is a shame. It's going to slow down Killer even further.
Yeah, I think Killer may even try and consider. I don't think it will necessarily work, but he might consider doing some kind of like lurker follow-up as well to kind of try and bust the natural of Mong after stabilizing with 2-hatch Hydra. It's possible. He might not. But I'm trying to think of what his highest win conditions. Oh, he's getting this drone sniped by the Vulture as well. Maybe. Okay. Ooh, he does get it. Oh, it's so painful. Like, it is just 1 worker, but I can't explain enough how important every worker right now is like gold dust to Killer, because the only way he can win this game is if everything goes perfectly for him.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're losing drones in this situation, the sand is really running out of the hourglass. The opportunities to win here are getting fewer and farther in between. Some more Vultures coming up to the front. Mines are being laid, and I was thinking that maybe Killer would go... Oh, here comes the drop I was talking about earlier. I was thinking that maybe Killer would just purely produce Hydras here and try to go for a bust, because if you get on top of the high ground, it makes it so hard if you're standing in an arc with Hydra to get up there and get your natural expansion. This drop is going to come in, but Hydras are ready. They have speed. I'm surprised he didn't get range here, but it's actually going to help him to track down this drop. Coming up and landing over here towards the natural. Slow Vulture is going to be walking in here against Speed Hydras, so I think that Killer can stop this pretty reasonably. I'm going to target these down pretty darn quick. He's even blocked behind the mineral patches, and he kills everything without losing a single drone. Wow, really good defense there from Killer.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about Mong's decision making. I thought maybe he would lay the mines at the ramp and then come into the natural expansion and just suicide onto those drones there. If only the single Sunken and like one Hydra providing DPS wouldn't kill those vultures quick enough, and he would have lost at least like 4 or 5 drones there. So I'm not sure what the decision making by Mong, but nonetheless, going to be trying to take advantage of this high ground position in the natural expansion area with the dropship as a follow-up, put a siege tank up here with a couple of Marines and a raid for support, and cause a lot of problems for Killer to have to deal with now, starting to snipe these gas drones and put a lot of pressure on him to respond to this and react to this quickly. And it'll be very difficult for him to come up here and kill this tank.
You hate to see it, man. You really do. This is Tempest though for you. That's the way this map was made. Totally frustrating here for Killer. He's gonna just build Hydras and try to go across the map. I think that's the right choice in this situation. Try to break the natural and force Mong back onto one base, although he's himself on one base right now, so even if this works, I don't think Killer has much of a shot in this game from here.
No, I mean, he has some kind of game plan, but I promise you he's not happy with the position. He's going to try and mine sweep with a Ling and come in here and see if he can figure out some kind of way of busting open the natural position for Mong. He's just going to go for it maybe anyway, but I don't think there's any way he can be successful here. But yeah, there is some tiny chance that maybe he could come in here and bust open this natural, but with 2 bunkers and mines, just no way that in hell that's going to be transpiring. So now Mong even just going to like put the nail in the coffin and just put a siege tank there as well. It's like, what are we going to do here for Killer? There's nothing really available to him.
He's going to try and take a base here out on the map. It looks like he's going to take this forward base. It's been spotted by Mong, this mine here. So clutch. He's going to send out the vultures to deal with that. Another drop here into the main. Not going to get too much damage, but it did spot out that spire. So the transition that's going to come from Killer here, building into some mutas, is just... it has a very, very low percentage chance to work right now. The dropship's been so annoying. Mong himself being incredibly frustrating to deal with here. With the tank on high ground still just sitting there. I wonder, do you go into drop here? What do you do? I guess Muta is definitely the right choice, hey? Going into the Muta gets rid of the siege tank, and it can also help you to deal with the vultures. So I guess that in the end is going to be the better option. I really didn't consider this when we had that earlier game state, you know, with the vultures being dropped. I thought Hydra was going to be the right choice, and I guess so did Killer. But that high ground over the natural, you don't really consider that because it's not really a normal map feature in modern day maps.
Right, yeah, and basically kind of squashes any hopes of doing anything with your Hydras if there's any kind of support up on that high ground. We see now Killer realizing that he needs to rely on some good Mutalisk micro to maybe find something here. Kind of fly into the main base with these mutas, snipe a few of these SCVs. There is a vessel with just waiting to radiate. Does finally get the connection on that radiate. It's pretty good split from Killer, but he's going to take so much damage on these mutas on the exit as well. Tries to instead try and find a position behind the mineral line to take some SCVs out, but instead just gets boxed in and loses every single muta but one. Saying he's pretty much out of this game, surely. I don't know how he's going to find a win here.
Yeah, it's really looking like a team hero victory here. Mong closing the noose right now, closing down all options right now for Killer. He's sending out some units on the map. He's got some Scourge with him, but he's not going to spot this dropship coming in. He does now see it with this Overlord, but he's got nothing here in the main to defend. More vultures going to be unloaded. Oh no, it's Marines actually. A Marine medic force here. Going to be distracting Killer. It's all been spotted, so by the time he gets back, or by the time he does this attack, Hydras are going to be ready to fight. Going after the Spire is a good choice, but I don't think it's going to go down in time. Hydras are here, going to be focusing down these Marine one by one and picking all of this off. So not a whole lot of damage, but did delay some mining time. And every tiny bit of damage here for Mong is invaluable. Killer falling farther and farther behind every moment here. Finally going to go into Queen's Nest. Going to try to get himself into Defiler play, but it's a long shot here for Killer now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if Killer had more mutas and more Scourge, maybe he could slow down the bow push when it finally does happen. But I don't think we're going to see that. He's just going to try and desperately go into Hive Tech, but he's only just now starting to make his Queen's Nest, like 11 minutes into the game. It's so super slow. He should have Defilers by now. So it really does like kind of paint a picture of just the despair that he must be feeling to be this far behind. He's still valiantly trying to claw his way back into this game. He needs a little bit of hope and a prayer and a bit of luck as well. He needs to catch some drop ships for free with these Scourge. He needs to avoid any further damage being dealt to him while he slowly claws his way back into the game, gets the Defiler tech out, takes a free 4th base because he's taken the natural in the top right, so he can get a free 4th gas eventually. There is this tiny glimmer of hope at the end of this really long, narrow tunnel, but I don't think he's going to make it to the end.
We don't have any lurkers out here to contest this Marine Medic push out. And even if we did, we've got four science vessels here ready to fight. Looks like he's not going to be able to pick off this drop. It is going to change direction here. I guess pick up once again and maybe go back for the main here. Lurkers are being made, but again, like 3-4 lurkers are being made, and we've got 4 science vessels here ready to irradiate. So immediately we're gonna have the siege up, we're gonna have the irradiates come down, and basically everything for Killer is going to melt. He's coming in from multiple angles with Hydra, but Hydra is just not what you need here against this large bioforce plus tanks and vessels. Mong has the perfect killing force to knock down Killer in this second match.
Yeah, basically, Mong's got all the tools in his arsenal to deal with Killer, and Killer's basically just got nothing at all that he can even use to stabilize his position. He's very desperate for any kind of luck. He's just basically hoping that Mong makes some kind of mistake, but Mong's probably not going to make the kind of mistake that Killer needs to come back in this game. He's trying to get around the back of the army with some additional lurkers and Hydras, right as Mong is elevating some of his units into the main base upon some pressure. One now becomes the Prince attack from behind. 6 lurkers try to borrow, only 3 make it though. Marine's going to shuffle back to the high ground to support the tanks as well, and the rest of the tanks going to be shelling the Hydras and reducing them to just absolute like ribs and meat on the ground that maybe Mong could then put into his nice juicy noodles and feast on that after the game. GG.
GG. Well, I don't know about you, Shun, but watching that match between Killer and Mong, I am feeling the pain here. I feel like I just watched a brutal ladder game. That strategy from Mong, insanely good for Tempest, and I don't know what Killer could have done better there, except for just micro his drones more efficiently against that 8-Rax.
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing he could have done differently would be not take that much damage early on. He valiantly tried to come back in that game by any means necessary, but he just took far too much damage in the early game and didn't really kind of luck out on Mong making any critical errors later on either. So unfortunately, going to be putting another point on to finally Heroes board, leveling things out. We're going straight into Saxby versus Light, and I really do like this map with the triangular peninsulas in the center, kind of making for positional play and being fluid with your army movement so important. And in this matchup with these two players, I really do feel like we're gonna have a Light victory here.
Yeah, you were predicting a Light victory. We'll see if Saxby can pull out some kind of upset in this game. It's not unheard of. We've seen a lot of upsets in this team tournament so far. It's not a guarantee sending out your ace player against a mid-tier player like Saxby. When they've got that time to prepare, they know the matchup, they know the map. Maybe they can think of something, pull out some sort of build here that can catch you by surprise and take a quick win.
Yeah, I mean, we could see something crazy from Saxby here, and the only thing is that Saxby's not known for doing anything too crazy, so for him to suddenly start playing like that would be a little bit strange, but that could be just the thing that he needs to kind of catch Light off guard. But Light's really on top of all of his timings. He knows pretty much everything in the book, and it looks like Saxby is optimizing his lair timing for lava, so I think this is going to be a 2.5 hatch build from him. Everything looks kind of like engineered to be lava optimizing and macro orientated, so I don't see anything weird coming out of Saxby thus far, and at least that's what he's telegraphing to Light.
Right, and if you guys don't know about that larva maximization strategy, if you build the lair at the perfect time here on the clock, you can get an extra larva. It's just a little trick that Zerg players use. They have to delay their lair just by a little bit, but by doing so, they do get an extra larva, and it can make the difference. Getting an extra drone out just a little bit earlier, and you know, getting that economy online allows you to get the third hatch out. A 2.5 hatch here going to be the choice from Saxry. You're completely right here, Shun, and he will most likely be going into Mutalisk from here. We haven't seen the Hydralisk Den thrown down just yet, and it looks like we're going to be throwing down that Spire now. And Saxry, where is the Spire actually? Okay, there we go. I think he dropped it just now. But Saxry going to be going for, you know, a macro play here, and I think that Light, this is the type of strategy. There it is. This is the type of strategy Light is most comfortable against.
Oh, absolutely. This is kind of what I was worried about. I was worried about Saxry slipping into his strengths, but that's exactly what Light wants. And oh, he's going to miss the SCV scout as well. Okay, Barney going to be able to catch this. If he sees the second gas isn't taken, though, there's still good information. Okay, he doesn't quite see the second gas isn't taken, though, so he does deny that information. But he did see the amount of drones in the natural. So now Light knows, okay, there's something weird going on. There's only like a few drones here. So what's going on? There's something. So he's got SCVs blocking, bunker on the way. It's going to make this Ling counterattack much less effective.
Yeah, you hate to see it. What these Lings are going to slip right by into the main base. This is kind of big, actually. Maybe he can force the Marines out of the wall and then run by and surround this bunker here. Oh, he's going to get on top of these Marines. This is amazingly impactful here. Those 4 Lings slipping by, making all the difference right now for Saxry. Saxry getting in here, dealing that damage. This is going to give him a bit of a hope in this game. I was feeling like all hope was lost when that Ling missed the SCV scout, but maybe Saxry can get something done here.
Yeah, and there's muters on the way. This is something. I mean, at the very least, this is going to delay the timings of Light. He doesn't have enough money to build turrets right now. Okay, so this is very interesting because Saxry, if he has good enough Mutalisk micro, he can do a follow-up attack here and put a lot of pressure onto Light. But the second gas hasn't yet been taken, so he won't have the kind of critical mass of Muters that he would want. So he might even just have barely enough Muters to come in here and start one-shotting some Marines, put a little bit of pressure, and maybe punish the main base for having delayed turrets. But I don't think he's going to find the kind of damage that he needs to really punish Light. And that's what I'm concerned about, because Light's going to stabilize now. He didn't quite take the damage necessary for these Muters to do much damage, and he didn't take that second gas for so long, so it's going to be a long time. I think this is just going to be a little bit of a fake Muter pressure play. Just 5 Muters here, maybe 6, and then he's eventually just going to transition into a much more heavily macro-orientated play, take an expansion, go straight into tech, and then just try and like fake Light out a little bit and try and get a little bit of an economic edge.
Yeah, he might also, you know, just get some drones going here so they can really start to pump up this Mutalisk count, get that third gas, and only put 3 drones on that gas, none on the minerals, and try to muscle out Light here, who's trying to push across the map right now. Firebat's gonna get caught here. He drops a scan in the natural, and he doesn't like what he sees, so he sends his Marines back home. He's just gonna sit here and camp while getting out his factory.
You know what's saying? It's looking like Saxry is playing like he doesn't usually play, and he wants to actually pull the trigger. And like you say, come in here and just keep putting on the pressure with these Muters and just secure this third gas. And he might just keep the pedal all the way down for quite some time. Now, Light's also not really respecting this too much, and he actually just wants to threaten the counterattack to pull away these Muters. He understands there's no Sunkens right now. He can just go for a kill move, and that does force Saxry to come back into the middle and force himself to dog these Bioforces from behind. Now Light going to do a quick turnaround with those Marines as well, do a quick catch on that Muter, taking it out instantly. Light is just so good with these small micro adjustments to his Bioforce. He's very good at like moving fluidly, keeping his army moving at maximum speed, but then as soon as there's any kind of threat imminent, he's very good at putting them into a nice tight square formation or line formation, depending on what kind of engagement he needs to deal with. As you can see, he's very good at just like moving forward, moving back, and he rarely overstims his Marines as well. Sometimes he'll even be baiting out the Zerg player by just stimming one Marine at a time. You look at these beautiful lines that he draws with his Marines to keep counterattacking these Muters. Every time they come in from the east or the south, he's always ready to kind of reposition those Marines very fluidly and deal with anything the Zerg can throw at him.
Ultimate bravery here from the Marines. Imagine watching You know, 11 mutas flying at you and hitting the stim and just running at them. So crazy, but exactly what you need to do in order to shove the Mutalisk back and actually kill any of them. Oh, a huge sunken line here for Saxter. He's just gonna go totally ham, going into the main base, killing all the turrets, getting on top of the production here. He's gonna start to kill Marines as they're popping out of the barracks here. He's gonna throw down a building at the front with all of these sunkens. Can he hold on? Light gonna stim and just try to hit this. I think that Saxter can hold though. This is so many sunkens.
It's so many sunkers. Light is target firing them down really effectively, though. I think Light actually does just barely bust through. It's not quite enough sunkers. It's going to be a drone drill to kind of help out, but there's not enough DPS from these subterranean spines. And unfortunately for Saxter, I think that's going to be lights out. Mutas, though, desperately in retreat to kind of help and save the day, but the hatchery's being target fired down. It's going to be a critical damage to Saxter once he loses this, and the Mutas will also take a lot of damage. There's some links popping out, but they're not going to be enough in number to kind of threaten this. There is some more additional from the main two hatcheries, but I think he might even lose the den here. He's not going to force us to trade the Mutaling right now, but there's not quite enough mutas to kind of bully the rest of these Marines without losing a few of their own mutas. So right now, Saxter's taking critical damage. He lost the natural expansion. He lost so many units. Finally typing out GG. Second point on the board for Team Light, taking the lead. I think Team Light's going to take the series.
My God! All right. Terran OP. I don't care what Artosis says. You can't break 7 sunkens. What the heck is that? Crazy. That is crazy to me. I really thought that he was going to be able to hold on there with 7 sunkens. Maybe he did need a building in the front as well, just to soak some damage. But Light punches through. You know, Team Hero falling behind here. You might be right there, son. We might see Team Light take another win here. Finally, Kadenzi, our UK-based player. She lives in Korea now, but she's from Scotland originally. Our only non-Korean here in this tournament. And I hope that she's going to be representing. Although, look at this. No drones being made. What are we watching? Are we seeing a 5-pool? Kadenzi's playing so funny. She's playing like she's completely outmatched here, though she's done so well in the ladies ASL before. I'm really shocked.
Yeah, it's a 6-pool. I mean, I hate to say it, saying I'm not surprised. I expected this. I expected either a Hydra Burst. I expected Hydra Burst. I expected some kind of Ling Cheese or Lurker Contain. And some kind of desperation player. I don't think Denzi has the confidence to compete with some of the other Korean pros. I think she has. It's mainly her skill set is the issue. She's a very mechanics focused, aggression orientated player, and it kind of does put you into a bit of a pigeonhole where you're limited to only a small range of play to really take advantage of those strengths. And this is some of those available options she has to her to try and do that. And granted to her, this will be scouted pretty late by Anna, so there's a little bit of a hope there that maybe something can be done here. But if Anna responds to this even remotely well, though, I really do feel like it's going to be very easy to hold as long as she's got good probe micro and she does a little bit of delay with the probe, delaying those lings with a bit of a body block as well. I think it's gonna be really tough for Denzi, but with good micro, Denzi can still take this.
Well, there's no probe at the natural, so maybe she just takes this no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice block there. Yeah, the probe was not in the natural, and we haven't started a cannon yet. She's gonna start pylon in the main. So actually, Denzi, you know what? She's probably just gonna be able to kill the forge here. And if the cannon starts and finishes here in the main, we're gonna go into a really weird game, but it's gonna be in the Kadenzi advantage.
Right, but the cannon is not going to finish in the main, so now what it comes down to is, can Denzi get in here and kill the cannon, but does she then sacrifice all the lings to the probes? It's a bit of a weird... Denzi wants to just go for it. She wants to go for the win. She doesn't want to go for the transition, so she wants to just see if she can come in here and just go for the jugular, start gunning down these probes from the southern flank, and then maybe getting onto the cannon as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be a good choice. She does start target firing down these probes. She wants to limit the economy of the Protoss player as much as possible, target firing down as many probes as she can before the cannon warps in. She's doing a pretty good job thus far. Now wants to transfer onto the cannon, but good drill from Ana, going to deny that from being an eventuality, and instead going to be blocking those freelings from coming back in. Okay. I think she was considering like all-inning there and just wanting to like send some drones as backup in case she didn't quite have enough to finish off Ana and didn't want her to recover. Yeah, I guess.
I'm confused.
No, yeah, she wanted to all in right there, and she hoped that her lings could kill the cannon, and the drones would come in and help finish off Ana after only like 1 or 2 lings were left alive, and there was just a few probes left, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Like, this isn't good.
Wild. That was a wild play there. I like the choice of just killing probes. I think that that's actually better than the alternative, right? You're gonna kill the pylon, you're gonna get the forge, you can easily go ahead and take 3 base and just pump a few lings out. There's also the option to go right into Muta, and she stopped the probe from scouting. So with the probe being denied, you don't know if it's going to be a layer and straight into Muta, because that is one of the follow-ups from this kind of cheesy early game advantage here that you get.
Right.
You can just go straight into Muta and then just surprise the Protoss player completely. So Ana has to prepare for that now. She's got to build Corsairs off of 1 base, and you know, we might just see Denzi just completely go macro mode here with the 3 base and get straight into Hydra, and then as Ana tries to take her natural, get completely shut down here. It looks like 1 Zealot's going to come across the map. That actually might get the scout information that she needs.
Yeah, I think Denzi's just going to do like basically a delayed 9-7-3 here in this game, and just try and finish off Ana. When you're on 1 base like this as a Protoss player, they can get out Hydras. There's so much micro potential for Hydras that the ceiling is basically infinite. They're one of the most microball units in the game. So in any scenario like this, they are the highest value unit, not necessarily because they counter something very strong. They just counter pretty much everything decently well. So the amount of value you get per resource investment is just everything should be going into Hydras, usually during these weird phases of the game that we have here. So it makes quite a lot of sense for Denzi just go straight into Hydras like this. And you will see also these lings overpowering these Zealots that are really out of position from Ana. And she's going to be very careful here. Denzi does have a little bit of trouble getting surround, but now finally does get the surround on that Zealot. I'm going to be picking up before he gets the scout off critically as well, saying so. Right now, just a few extra pairs of lings being made to deny scouting while she then does this 9-7-3 transition.
Yeah, it's very important to deny scouting here. We are going to have a probe moving around the bottom side of the map, so maybe that can slide in at an awkward timing, but I don't think it's going to be early enough for Ana to shut this down. She doesn't even have a natural here, so she's just going into Stargate, and there's going to be a ton of Hydras out. They're going to be defending the Overlords and pushing in, making it impossible for Ana to take her natural. I think we've got a win here for Kadenzi.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? It's looking like it. I mean, Ana unfortunately hasn't really done anything after taking this early damage, and really Denzi's just put herself into a better and better spot. And finally now the probe's starting to get a little bit of idea of what's going on, but only so far seeing these lings, not really getting any kind of telegraphed information besides that. Finally going to be slipping into natural expansion, seeing how many drones there are there, seeing the Hydralisk, and that will tip her off. But not even getting this Overlord is a little bit annoying for... Oh no, the Zealot body blocked it! The Zealot body blocked the Dragoon, so it didn't kill the Overlord, man.
Oh man, that's very unfortunate. Really not going Ana's way here in this game. Looks like the Zealot's going to end up getting picked off as well. So it helped out the Zerg, but now it's going to get betrayed here. Slicing down that Zealot. Going to go after the probe as well. We've got the pylon here on the low ground. Some hope of taking the natural, but Denzi's going to come in and shatter that here in a moment with the Hydras coming out. She's got Hydras now over here at the natural. Wait, leaving the Overlord to die. Unfortunate from Kadenzi. Okay, here comes 2 Hydras to actually stop that. And the Hydra's coming across the map now. They just have no answer from Ana. There's nothing that she can do except for, you know, build cannons or something in the main, and that's not going to be a long-term strategy. Not a winning strategy, at least.
Wow, if she had killed that Overlord, she would have supply blocked Denzi. Denzi wouldn't have been able to make those 2 Hydras at the natural expansion. It would not have been able to defend that Overlord. So now would have been 2 Overlords down. It would not be able to make these Hydralisks right now. Would not be able to put the pressure on Anna right here, right now. And Denzi now looking in a position that she can just end the game. Cannon not even get better finish. Just guns down the Zealot, and GG finally called. Wow, all because of that Overlord snipe saying this would have happened otherwise.
Well, I still think Cadenzi probably would have won that game, but maybe not as smoothly as she did. And, well, finally, Cadenzi getting a win here. You know, she got her revenge after her loss versus Anna in the finals of the first half, day 8 of KCM. And we're going to go back into these men's matches after the ladies tier 1 with everything pretty well tied up right now. Is it 2-2 actually on the board? I don't know why I ever doubted myself. Of course, it's 2-2. And it's nice to have an even match here. Last round, or the last time these two teams faced off against each other, Team Light got a huge early lead. They went up to it was like 4-1 at one point, and it was up to Team Hero to bring things back, and they just weren't quite able to do it. Now with an even score here and Hero coming out for this next match, I think we might end up seeing Team Hero lead after this.
Ooh, do you know what would be really interesting if we just see like a reverse sweep and like Hero suddenly just starts slapping Team Light around? I really didn't think that. For a moment there, I was feeling like, okay, Team Light might just go all the way. But who knows? Anything could happen. I mean, they're just such stellar teams. Like, and Ruin's very talented, but Hero himself, the team captain, he's a bit of an underrated player despite being so rated. If you know what I mean. Like he's very highly rated, but I still think he's underrated.
Yeah, I think I could get behind that. Hero is just a crazy strong. What the Ruin? What is this Forge placement? Are you seeing this shit?
I'm seeing this, Sam. I'm very confused as well. I don't know what to say about this, honestly.
That's interesting to say the least. The Forge here going to be placed back behind the pylon. I've actually seen this on... Oh my god, another good block there. Finally does get it down. But I have seen this on ladder a couple of times, actually. And it's confused me there as well. I thought it was pretty troll. And it was some games that I actually didn't end up putting out. It didn't really work. But I think the idea here is to have the Forge in a position that can be protected. And you're still going to get the Forge early so that you can get the cannons out early. But you're going to end up walling in with the Gateway and Cybernetics core instead of, you know, Gateway and Forge. I believe that's the idea in this situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. It might just be also to guarantee the upgrade not being sniped, and also, like you say, to protect the ability to make cannons without having that being sniped early on can prevent you having to then remake the Forge early on in the main base, and that like slowing down your ability to make defenses and units at critical times. It can be advantageous in that sense.
I guess we're seeing another evolution here for Protoss.
I mean, it's a very unique way of approaching the game, and actually, it makes sense for someone like Ruin to be doing that. And he's not just StarCraft 1 focused here. He's been on both sides of the fence, StarCraft 2 as well. So he has got his own way of approaching the game, and certainly will be willing to experiment with different schools of thought.
Yeah, more open-minded perhaps, but we've got a lot of Lings being produced right now. I don't see a Zealot just yet. No probes in the wall. There's the Cybernetics core at the front to make that full wall, but he's just not ready for this attack, which is just coming in here. Zealots are not out just yet. There's the first Zealot. Gotta come in here and finish off these Lings. Oh man, the cannon goes down. More and more Lings streaming across the map. Looks like Hero just going for an early victory right now. I think the actual best plan right now would be for Ruin not to send the Zealot into the main and just keep it here in the natural to defend the up-and-coming cannon, because now the reinforcement Lings are probably going to be able to take this out. Great surround, though, by Ruin on that cannon, and now he's got a second Zealot. He can plug the wall. Oh, man. This is such a good hold here by Ruin.
Wow, he's so talented. Ruin is one of those players where you never quite know what's gonna happen when he's playing. Like, he's so good at his execution and his way of thinking. His brain is just interesting to me. He's right now playing at the same kind of speed of Hero, and Hero is a very fast player. Like, look at the players' APMs right now, both close to 500. Like, these guys are not messing around right now. And with the link control of Hero, it is still a bit of a nightmare situation for Ruin. So it's going to be forcing him to make a safety cannon in the main base as well, like to really try and like shut this down, because these 5 speedlings are a real big threat to anyone that has any kind of competent level micro. But what Hero wants to do is come for a backstab on this cannon, the natural while hitting the front, and gets a good surround on this Zealot that wasn't body blocked properly with that additional probe at the front. So now a beautiful surround from Hero going to be coming in here and just ripping open this natural expansion area of Ruins. Target firing down the pylon. Zealot does pop out though, so there's a little bit of help, a little bit of a delay, but that's going to be all boxed in and just absolutely destroyed by those claws of those lings. And now finally going to have to tap out GG, and Hero taking the lead for the first time, leading his team into the light, pun intended.
Yeah, I was expecting a Hero victory there, but not quite like that. Hero all in Ling. It's not what you expect, but sometimes going for the unexpected play, it's a real sign of a championship level StarCraft player. Pulling those kind of cheesy plays out now and then can be seriously advantageous. You got to keep the Protoss player honest. And I'm sad that we didn't see that forge behind the pylon actually work out here. I mean, I don't think that was the factor that lost the game here for Ruin, but I think this is another evolution, seriously, Shun, and we may end up seeing that all the time here in PvZ in the future.
Well, I would like to see more of this, and do you know what? You're spot on about Hero. He's the whole package. He is a macro-orientated player, but he can do pretty much everything to such a high standard, including those kind of cheeses. So he's a really exciting player to watch, and I want to see more from him.
Well, it's time for TVT here. Sharp versus Mind on Lock Company. We got cross spawns. This should be a very interesting match. The Fast and the Furious, I think, with all the bikes and tanks rolling around everywhere. Sharp versus Mind should be a really exciting match. Probably more exciting than Fast and Furious, honestly. The most recent series.
I mean, it's not much of a contest. I mean, yeah, I mean that franchise has been a little bit downhill, if you ask me. But I don't think that's an unpopular opinion either.
Well, Mind here. I think this guy, one of the smartest Terran players that we have, but can he match the killer instinct and the mechanics here of Sharp? We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's basically brains versus brawn right now. Sharp is just so good in that vulture control and early game aggression, and aggression throughout the game, in fact. And going to be seeing a forward Rax from him, whereas mine going for the much more conservative Rax and the natural expansion. So already a little bit more aggression oriented. We see the spear versus shield already being established in this matchup here, as Sharp comes out like a Spartan and shows that he's going to use his thrusting arm in this matchup here against the beautiful mind of Mind.
Well, we've got pretty much even builds right now. Just the forward barracks by Sharp. This can make a big impact because Sharp here gonna be able to produce Marines and send them across the map. We'll see if he actually wants to do that, or if this is just for the scouting barracks to be arriving in the opponent's natural that much quicker. He's gonna start this Marine here. We'll have to pay close attention to how many Marines are actually produced, because that can give you a big advantage just before the Vulture, or when the first Vulture reaches the front. And it's going to decide who will be on the defensive, who is going to be on the offensive in the early part of the game in that Vulture war. One Marine being produced. Who's going to lift off first? Looks like both players going for a second Marine as well.
Yeah, two Marines is the standard. One, you could be a little bit greedy, just make one Marine, but it's a little bit risky to go for that. So you do tend to see two Marines being made, and then obviously one player can then try to make additional Marines, maybe a third or a fourth, even sometimes, and crazily so. But that can then be enough to kind of swing a little bit of momentum if they can catch the first Vulture with the initial Marines as well. They can kind of get like an early win this way because they can then snowball their Vulture advantage after the fact. But usually don't see that kind of play from most players. You'll see usually just one or two Marines being made from both sides, but instead we see Sharp here going for three Marines very early on, like I was talking about, catching this SCV scout from behind, denying that at the very least. That's a little bit of value. While these Marines are distracted in the main base, it's going to be coming into natural expansion with those three Marines as well, and then getting a little bit of positional advantage by doing so.
Yeah, if you're going to be the aggressor, you want to build just one Marine more than your opponent, and that's what he's done here. He's got 3 Marines to the 2. He's going to be able to delay this command center for a bit, and you can see you just can't fight this with 2 Marines. It's not going to be advantageous, but now with the Vulture out, he's actually going to kill all of the Marines, and now the barracks of Mind is going to be completely uncontested here. The barracks is going to be able to float over everything, whereas back at home, Mind has 2 Marines to kind of shove that away.
Yeah, I actually think this is a mistake from Sharp. I actually think Sharp should have gone 4 Marines and used the 4 Marines to box in the Vulture from coming out so quickly, and then putting enough damage on the first Vulture that the Vulture, he has the Vulture advantage. But I guess he just mapped out that he needs to get an advantage with those 3 Marines, regardless of the fact, and maybe hope to snipe at least in a single SCV. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I feel like he should have gone for the 4 Marines in this situation and really caught Sharp by surprise and boxed out the Vulture, and then had the HP advantage against the Vultures coming in.
Yeah, now you can't actually fight here as Sharp. You can't come in and fight the 2 Vultures versus 2 Vultures with the 2 Marine advantage. The DPS from those 2 Marines is going to make the difference in that fight. And the problem with Vultures, you can't run away because they can get that moving shot going and just kind of chase you down forever. Now, a first alteration in the builds here. Mind has gone for a starport after this. Yeah, here we go. See, getting the moving shot, and Sharp has to run away here. He cannot just stay and fight because the Marines will catch up. And there's actually a 3rd Vulture arriving here for Sharp, kind of reinforcing, and he will actually win this fight and overall win this engagement here. Very nicely done by Sharp. Now pushing in towards the natural as the Wraith comes across the map. Mind is in a little bit of trouble here. There's 2 Vultures in his natural, and they're going to get some SCV kills.
Yeah, a little bit of finesse though from Mind. Beautiful drill does almost catch those Vultures. There's a tank here as well to come and ward that way. Some SCVs do go down though, and that's going to be a little bit painful for Mind to weather. He does have his own Wraith in the main base of Sharp to maybe cause a little bit of harassment, but he's not going to really take so long for these Wraiths to actually kill anything. And SCVs are just so chunky and have 60 HP, so with only 8 shot apiece, just takes so long. And with the repair, there's just no way you could even delay. See this? He can just repair this SCV and pretty much prevent this armory from being delayed, and it's really annoying for Sharp for Mind that he's not going to find any real counter damage besides some repair bills and lost mining time. And now Mind going to be coming onto the map with some tanks to try and put on some pressure, trying to get some sort of positional advantage while distracting Sharp with this couple of Wraiths here. But in fact, now that the armory's finished, I really don't feel like he's going to get too much done, but he might kill enough SCVs that it's a little bit annoying for Sharp. But I still think overall this is going to be very Sharp favored.
Building a Marine here in the main base. I don't know what this is all about, but Sharp popping out a couple of Goliaths should be able to push away these Wraiths. They've got 2 kills on this one Wraith. That's some pretty good damage. That's actually already made up for the Vulture run by a little bit earlier. The Goliaths are out here. That Marine was killed. Seems like a waste of money to me, so Sharp is going to stop the production of those Marines and probably just lift off this barracks now as his own barracks goes down in the base of Sharp. So a bit of a difference in opinion here, a difference in build order for these 2 players. We got Mind with the more nimble and, you know, glass cannony. I guess it's not even a cannon, it's just basically just glass. These Wraiths, they are flying around. They are able to scout and see spot for the tanks, but these Goliaths are going to have a lot more power on the ground for Sharp. I've heard a lot that Artosis prefers to be the one who has the Wraith play. I've heard that it's better to have Wraiths, and look at this. Sharp is going to build his own Wraiths now, so I think he agrees.
No, I agree as well with Artosis that yeah, Wraiths are generally pretty damn good. And yes, a lot can go wrong with the Wraiths though. This is the problem, and also you run the risk of say opening yourself up to counterplay by maybe if you invest too heavily in your Wraiths and they scout it ahead of time and they go Valkyries or something, that can also be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, generally speaking, the player that's going Wraiths tends to have such an advantage over the other player, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, also, if you're going for this Wraith play, you've already got the starport down, so you can just quickly add on the control tower, that's what it's called, and you can start to build into your early dropships. You can abuse your opponent from behind these this natural here, and you can start to do things like vulture drop and all that good stuff. So it's a lot more of a nimble play rather than just going for the early armory, but we'll see how Mind decides to utilize it. So far, he's done a really good job of picking off SCVs here and there and really scouting out what Sharp is doing. And he hasn't been contained or anything like that, which is really the big concern here when you've got the weaker army. If you get contained on your natural, it's going to be a real problem.
Yeah, it is definitely saying. Oh, can we just point out how? Oh wow, he's going to use both these race for free. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Mind was doing such a good job, like just coming out onto the map with these wraiths and doing a fantastic job of microing them, sniping these mines from being laid, just getting any kind of tiny microscopic advantage that he can try and snowball into a bit of a comeback in this game. But just like for his efforts, he eventually lost those wraiths quite painfully, and now he's kind of like boxed himself into the southwestern quadrant of the map, and he doesn't feel probably confident to come out any further than that, despite having that initial Wraith advantage. So now I'm a little bit worried for him. He is kind of positioning himself up to kind of even things out with Sharp, but overall Sharp's just doing everything better despite the Wraiths.
I think Sharp's going to take a serious advantage here soon because he's been building up his Wraith count. He's got like 3-4 Wraiths. All the Wraiths of Mind were killed, and Mind is in the mental state right now that he has the Wraith advantage, right? He has the air advantage. He doesn't need Goliaths. He doesn't need turrets. He's just going to start rebuilding that Wraith count, or maybe going into a dropship here, and I think he's going to be completely surprised by this Wraith attack from Sharp, and Sharp may force the unsiege and then push forward and get a really good position here in front of Mind's army.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about this, to be honest with you. I'm liking Sharp's position more and more as time goes on. I'm quite concerned for Mind, and this is looking like Team Hero is going to take a real big advantage in this matchup. If they go up to 4-2 right now because of this is going to be a lot of momentum for them, and this could be just what Team Hero needs to seal the deal. And it's looking more and more like it is going to be that case. We have a few Wraiths of Sharp now sharking around, trying to catch this one Wraith of Mine that's slightly out of position and trying to chase it down. Mine going to be running that all the way to the southeast of the map to try and get as much time as possible before finally losing that, perhaps. But forces Sharp to... he does he does get it away.
Oh, that was interesting. I don't know. I thought that Sharp was just going to go for the tanks immediately, but using some time here to just go after the first Wraith, I definitely understand. Getting rid of that early Wraith is going to be valuable, but he's only getting one tank here now because already a Goliath is out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't. He maybe should have gone for the interception of the Wraith and then saw that it was not possible. Immediately gone for the tanks. So maybe at least then could have made that adjustment. But yeah, he didn't even catch that Wraith. It's kind of a letdown.
I don't see where the Wraith is now. Must have made its way back home. Looks like Sharp going to come around the side here, try to get a run by going with these vultures. Get himself into position. This is only just one tank, though, on the left-hand side. All these tanks and Goliaths are going to get blown up. Quite a bit of SCV damage could be going down here, but we've got a Goliath and some vultures of Mine to sort of clean this up. Gonna run into the main base as well here. This is quite the gambit by Sharp, but it's actually starting to pay off at this point. He's gonna get a view here of how many Wraiths have been made as well, so that's also some good information. Not the most amount of economic damage, but I think Sharp's gonna be happy with that run by.
Yeah, absolutely, saying he's also confident enough to just throw down this fourth base as well. Going to be trying to increase his advantage further. Maybe Mind a lot more sheepish about when he's going to be taking that fourth base. So right now, so far, Sharp winning in pretty much every metric in terms of position and economic curve of the game. But now Mind trying to make a play for the southern eastern side of the board. A big tank line here trying to overpower this position, and it looks like he can do so. There's not many tanks left for Sharp, just a couple over this floating wreck. Some more reinforcing tanks, setting up a second line, kind of a bit of trench warfare here as both players try and like fight for every inch and come out into no man's land more and more, and lose a lot for their efforts, but finally gaining some precious ground. They can open up the map, create some new lines of unit transfer, maybe come over and put some pressure onto this that fourth base location that Sharp's now starting to take.
Yeah, Sharp cannot let any more ground go here over on the right-hand side. He's allowed Mine now to open a lane down towards the bottom right, which he can continue to expand towards that other main base area. But Sharp, if he lets him push any farther forward, that fourth base gas and maybe minerals are going to be denied here. So he really does need to reinforce that position. He's trying to get over here to the left side as well. Doesn't want to give up any ground here either, but it's much more important for Mine to hold this area because it is over top of his own fourth base. Cloak Wraiths here for Sharp, going to come over and finish off some of these low HP tanks. So making good use out of these units. Kills off that one low HP Goliath. Going to get some more tank damage here. It looks like scans are going to come out. Sharp not paying attention. Going to lose a Wraith, but does get one more tank for his efforts.
Yeah, the Wraiths are definitely paying dividends right now and getting some of these tank kills, and it's enough. As long as like a few tanks go down, it's only one tank per Wraith in terms of gas count, and just thinning out the herd on these positions and weakening those positions is just so valuable in this matchup. And the Wraiths also provide additional vision for those tanks to allow them to shoot further than they can see. So the Wraiths have a lot more advantage than just the damage they can do. They can also allow your tanks to shoot first and cause an absolute nightmare situation for the enemy Terran, and also mow down any kind of floating buildings as well that are around the map, providing the vision for the opponent as well. Look at this, just killing more and more of these tanks that are just completely undefended on the southern flank here.
Yeah, tanks are going down, but Big Drop is going to move around the top side. He's going to be able to get in there and actually shut down this base over the top left if he wants to. Maybe set up a position here that's going to be hard to break, you know, preventing Sharp from getting over there. Or maybe he's going to go for this base over at the, I guess this 1 o'clock area here for Sharp. 3 dropships is not a huge amount of units, but it is going to be hard to shove out of this kind of tight area here behind the gas geyser. It's a very nice defensible position, and Mind is going to take that in a pretty strong way here, dealing a lot of damage to the economy here of Sharp. He hasn't pulled the SCVs, and look at that, all the SCVs go down in one fell swoop. Sharp in a lot of trouble here, trying to defend over this wall. I don't think you can fire that far, Sharp. That's a really long... I mean, you're pretty optimistic about the range of these tanks right now.
Yeah, it's a nice little pocket for Mine to come in here and slip into, and he's done a really good job of coming here and exploiting this one point of weakness, and killing all those SCVs is going to be a real devastation for Sharp. And Mine's just so clever, isn't he? Like he can just be in a weird position where it looks like every metric's working against him, and suddenly he flips the script on his opponents just by a few genius little subtle plays like this. And I really love to see this guy play. He's on a different level and comes into the eastern side now while the forces have been mobilized elsewhere to deal with that a drop just to the north now, and with some units being sent to the northwest to try and secure that other main base. The whole position on the right hand side is now much more weak and untenable for Sharp to hold, so it's going to be really tough for him going forward, as well as Mine starts to think about maybe expanding horizontally as well. Wants to take the whole southeast side of this map and then pressure the 3 o'clock as well, so Mine's going to be wanting to be very aggressive soon on this eastern flank, I feel.
That's pretty funny, just seeing how weak these Wraiths are there. During that attack, Mine was doing... Oh my god! Whoa, that mine! Holy crap, what was that? 3-4 tanks just exploded?
Yes.
Oh my god, that was huge. But Sharp was able to clean up the tank drop there, just purely with Wraith. We had like 5 Wraiths kill all the Goliaths, and then right at the end there, he managed to... get a scan out, but Mine was just busy with too much else going on the map to get that scan for quite some time. Oh! Another great shot there from Sharp, killing off a bunch of these tanks, and meanwhile going to work on these SCVs here at the center left. Sharp doing a lot of great things right now. Quite a few mistakes have been made from Mind, and some kind of awkward just unfortunate Mind connections as well. Really hurting Mind in this game. He's lost so many SCVs now. He's going to try and take the bottom right while simultaneously putting pressure on the center, on the center right here, but Sharp is really starting to take the advantage now.
Wow, Sharp as a scalpel as he just like surgically cuts through Mind's position right now and making short work of him, just going through bone like butter. More like he's kind of got the power of a bone saw, but the precision of a scalpel as he cuts through these Terran positions. It's amazing how good he is at controlling units in TVT. Like usually this is a matchup that's so slow and methodical, but recently it's becoming more and more aggressive, and players like Sharp have been able to shine.
Sharp really shining here, but a big counter drop from Mind. Gonna shut down his mining in this location. It's fine though. Sharp has plenty of bases around the map right now. He's taking the top left. He has that up and operational, whereas Mind not able to take bottom right as of yet. He's gonna try and take a sneaky base down at 6 o'clock, but there's no real lane for his units to get back there. He'll have to rely on drop ships to defend that area, and Sharp continuing to hit this center left. Gonna kill a ton of SCVs here. Once again, looks like SCVs are gonna be pulled. Oh, they're not actually gonna fight. Instead, they're just gonna run and probably die here. Yeah, look at all the SCVs blowing up. Sharp getting far and away ahead now of Mind. +2 is done on the tanks, I believe, for both players. So things are gonna start to slow down here if both players can stabilize. We may end up getting into kind of a split map situation, but things are balanced on a knife's edge here for Mind. Sharp just moments away from taking a victory here, or at least taking a position that can't be brought back by Mind.
Yeah, Mind is balancing on the blade of Sharp right now, and Sharp right now is feeling like a neurosurgeon, so Mind's in a little bit of a precarious situation to say least as Sharp comes down the eastern flank now with a big drop as well. He did slow down this expansion going up as well, sniping the SCV with some vultures earlier on, so he's done an absolutely fantastic job of really stifling any kind of growth from Mind as he also comes down, swinging down to the 6 o'clock gas expansion to put some pressure on here and just really slow down the phases of Mind. But Mind in hot pursuit with his own dropships wants to shut this down and kind of take control of the game once more. Mind's though being laid by these vultures, not quite getting the connections they could have had earlier, and destroy all these units for free. So right now so far Mind avoiding disaster while also putting some pressure on Sharp now. But now look at Sharp trying to take positional advantage, coming down here as a game of the siege tanks.
Well, Sharp just lost a whole bunch of his dropships, I believe. Like one dropship managed to get out of there. So he did take an L there, but a much bigger W in his ability to move forward here with the tanks, shutting off the lanes for Mind. Mind stuck in his natural now with only 4 bases available to him. He's going to have to do something drastic now in order to get another base online. He'll have to break this kind of containment here at the front of his natural. That's really the only method he has left to get out here on the map and secure another base at this point. He's actually going for a drop in the top left, but there's so many turrets here. It looks like despite all of the turrets, we will have an unload here for Mind. He gets 4 tanks up in this position, but instant reaction here from Sharp, pulling the SCVs to fight as well. He should be able to clear this without too much of a problem.
Yeah, it's looking pretty fantastic situation here for Sharp. He's able to hold on to pretty much all of his bases, while Mind has been really delayed and slowed down in taking his. So far, this is going Sharp's way. Another drop coming in to Mind's expansion on the 9 o'clock. Catching some of these dropships of Mind as well is going to be a huge win for Sharp going forward. Maybe in killing this tank too. Here comes Mind's reaction, though. Going to be trying to clear up these units as cost efficiently as possible, but critically not killing the dropships of Sharp here.
Yeah, one important thing, Mind. His dropships are very low on HP right now. You have to keep that in mind because he tried to drop there in the top left, or he did drop there in the top left, but the turrets were already in position, so Mind did keep a lot of these dropships alive, but they are so vulnerable to a couple of shots from the Goliaths. We're not getting a click on these just yet, but Mind moving northward here. He's not actually utilizing the drops. He's got them with his army, but I don't think there's anything inside of them right now. He's just bringing them along for the ride here as he moves towards the top left. Gonna try and break through here. Big counter drop by Sharp. Gonna try to hold this top left, but there's way more tanks for Mind. A little bit of a late siege up for Mind, but it seems like he's gonna break through here. Great mine there as well. Mind punching through. One last tank. It does go down. All the Goliaths fall. But more tanks coming forward here by Sharp. This is a desperation move for Mind. He's got to get in range of this CC. Don't lose the tanks, though, for free. Looks like he's going to back off here just a little bit. But the tanks are so low now, I think Sharp can clean all of this up.
Yeah, I think Sharp's looking so strong in this game. Mind's doing everything he can to try and find something here, but it's not really going his way. And now there's so many dropships left in the fleet of Sharp to just come here and just mow down the remaining force of Mind in this northern flank. Take out all these siege tanks. There is a few tanks on the left. They'll be slightly harder to clean up, but they'll still die very quickly as these dropships scoop up some more units to drop on top of those.
Yeah, dropping right on top of that, and Sharp's got a huge supply advantage here. 18 supply advantage, plus he had a bit of a bank. It just disappeared as he started another round of units, but his economy has been so much better for so long, and Mind taps out. Sharp takes that victory kind of as expected here. I saw him play that game against Light in the first half finals, and he just looks so good. It's hard to imagine that Mind would be able to match Light and actually take down Sharp in this game, and kind of proving me right here. Sharp just pulling out all the stomps, really getting in there like a neurosurgeon, cutting up Mind, taking him down. Really impressive stuff here in this TVT. Okay, we're going to spin the wheel on Team Hero. Ban that Saxory versus Light matchup. Makes sense. Light definitely favored in that match, and he showed his prowess in TVZ there. And then Hero versus Rune going to be banned, so both team captains going to be banned out. We're going to go to the roulette wheel to see which game is going to be replayed. Let's check it out. Who are you looking for here, Shun, for the rematch?
Honestly, I think Mong versus Killer. I would like to see Killer have another shot at Mong. I still think he'd get absolutely destroyed, but I think besides that, Sharp versus Mind, seeing those two go up against each other in a rematch, I think would be quite stellar as well.
Yeah, that TVT was fantastic. I don't think that same strategy works against Killer twice, but we'll see if we get that rematch. Maybe he will pull out the 8 Rex once again. Here it goes. Set number 1. All right, Hani versus Kahiri was a decent match, and we're gonna be replaying that. It's coming right up. Palms of Team Light. He's got to be sweaty right now, man. Putting all of his hopes on Hani here. Not the position you really want to be in as a team captain, is it?
I suppose not. No, I mean, Kahiri here could block the hopes of Hero and save Team Light, but yeah, Hani could squeeze out the win for Team Hero right now and just squash any hopes of this being a bit of a glory road of their first season and just absolutely dominating it, because they've been doing so well. So it'd be kind of weird to see them squashed out like this right here, right now.
Yeah, they did manage to win the finals of the first half, so it would be surprising to see Team Light go down here, but not altogether unwelcome. I think Team Hero is definitely deserving of a win. They've been playing fantastically here so far, and you know, Kahiri already got a win off of Hani a little bit earlier. Let's see if she can do it again and give us a longer series here. I would love to see us get to that final ace match. Really, that would be the true justice, right? Would be the team captains Light versus Hero in the final match would be a little bit more satisfying for an end to the series.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I would love to see Light versus Hero. It's what I think everyone probably would want to see right now watching this. It's possible we won't see that because of how close we are to death for Team Light, with it being 4-2. Anything can happen, so match point right now, so we might not see that gloriful ace match between the two team captains, but never mind. Instead, going to be having to settle for what we got if that is going to be the case. Beautiful link catch on that probe as well, and going straight into the slightly on time gas, so it does allow the option of potentially going for some early pressure if you so choose. And with the horizontal spawns as well, it does allow for some aggression to be applied, and maybe even just a fake Hydra bust would be a good option here.
I'm going to be praying for Kahiri here, cheering for Kahiri. Definitely on brand to be cheering for the Zerg player in this matchup, but I really hope that we get to continue this match, but Kahiri does need to make it through a pretty formidable Protoss player in Hani, who's already got things kind of going her way. She's already got the second probe out here on the map. She's scouting everything. She knows where the third base is. She's probably going to be able to slip this probe up into the main base and spot it. Did we spend gas so far, or we just get the gas going? So, yeah, I think this gas is just about at 100 here, and it appears that Kahir is going to go for a Hydra Den. So, Hydra bust incoming. Potentially not an all-in Hydra bust, as you were saying, a fake Hydra bust, but we'll see what Kahiri has in mind here for this game.
Yeah, I mean, as long as she's throwing down that den by 4 minutes, it's still applicable to go for some kind of Hydra pressure. And it does usually indicate more of a fake Hydra bust than an actual Hydra bust, but who knows? Maybe Kahiri still wants to pull the trigger here. It's possible. She is squeezing out more and more drones, wanting to get up to that 973 saturation as quickly as possible. She does need a little bit of an economic boon to be able to pump out non-stop units, so needs to squeeze out just the right amount of drones before she can start going to pure unit production. But now with the probe scout coming into the third base location and identifying not quite many drones mining here, if that probe is able to stick around for long enough, it's going to be a little bit suspicious. But the Lynx do come in to snipe that, so doesn't quite know for sure what's going on, but can maybe start to be a little bit suspicious only seeing one drone mining there at this point.
Speed done for the Lings, and I don't think Hani knows about this. She's gonna start her Citadel here. Speed Lings out on the map. Is it gonna be that newfangled bust by Zergs that they've been pulling out recently with Ling speed into the Hydralisk bust a little bit later on, which can be so powerful against Gateway First? This isn't a Gateway First opener, but she's going to catch the Zealots out here on the map and shutting down all the vision here. And we didn't see a starport or a Stargate online, did we? No, we did have a Stargate online. Okay, there's the Corsair. So she is going to get across the map here and spot, but more drones are popping out. So maybe Kahiri not going for the bust here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she is going to be going for the bust. I did anticipate either a fake Hydra bust or just, yeah, a pretty standard play. She's going to be able to intercept this Corsair and pretty much shave off all of the shields, which is going to be a nice little start to reduce the threat of any kind of overlords dying and stuff, and only needing like one Hydra here and there to prevent that from being the case, which means that she can now send the rest of the Hydras to the front to do some kind of fake Hydra bust to force this response from Hani right now. And we do see 3 cannons on the way while the Corsair is trying to figure out, is this for real or not? So, you know, right now there's no way of knowing for sure if this is for real or not without seeing exactly what's coming up all the eggs. And here it comes. Gahiri wants to make this a real deal, pushes the pressure on, does a good surround on this first Zealot with their Lynx, and now target fires down the cannons in quick order with those Hydralisks too. And both of these cannons are going to go down before the rest can start to warp in. Panic probes coming off the line here saying, I don't know if this is going to be enough to defend though. All these cannons are going to go down before they can finish warping in.
Ooh, Kahiri busting through. Nice job with the Lings, bringing them forward exactly as you want to with this type of bust. Speed Lings, dealing with those Zealots. The Hydra's killing off the cannons, and Kahiri taking this match away. Oof. I'm glad that we see a Team Light victory here, because we're going to get into our next match. We're going to spin the wheel one more time. All right, a bit of a switch up here with the bans. Team Hero really not wanting to see Hani versus Kahiri for a third time, and I agree with the decision, but opening up the possibility of a rematch here between Sox3 and Light. I'm gonna go to the wheel here and see what the spin will give. I'm expecting Sharp versus Mine. Come on, let's go. Set 6, come on, here we go. Set 2, Mong versus Killer gonna be replayed here. That's, how's this gonna go, Shun?
I have a feeling this is gonna be a Team Hero victory, unfortunately.
All right, well, let's see how it goes. Tempest, Killer, Mong, let's go. All right, the hopes of Team Light resting on the shoulders of a Killer. Here in the bottom right, Mong in the top left. 8-Rack's not as good here, is it? Because we're on cross spawn.
Yeah, this is not as good. So already a little bit of something going Killer's way, maybe.
Do you think he goes for another 12 hatch here, or is he gonna kind of, fear Mong's 8-Racks here? Maybe go for an earlier pool for himself. Well, Mong not going for that 8-Racks, throws down a supply depot, so not gonna be that pressure play. What's Killer's decision in this early game?
I still think Killer will either 12 pull and go for a 2-hatch muter all in, or probably will do something like just a regular 12 hatch and just say whatever happened happened and I'm gonna do it again.
Looks like he's gonna be going that route, just accepting his fate here. If there was going to be an 8-Racks, he would just have to micro the drones a little bit better, and I think he is capable of doing that. Probably dealt with 8-Racks a million times. Pretty disappointed himself probably that first game, losing 4 drones to Mong's early Marines and getting himself in such a rough position. But this time he's not going to be punished. He's not going to have Mong breathing down his throat this early in the game. Instead, he's going to get his 12 hatch pretty well unmolested here and send out his drone to go ahead and find out where Mong's at. And as he spots this SCV, he's going to know for sure Mong is here in the top left, and he's doing a pretty normal play to start things off.
Yeah, everything's looking pretty normal thus far. SCV going to be trying to put a little bit of damage onto that drone unsuccessfully. As the Killer going to be confirming exactly what's what. Sees there's no gas, so finally he's going to be having a little sigh of relief. Okay, maybe this is going to be somewhat of a normal game here. Maybe I can actually, turn the aggression on myself and take some control over the game. And if Mong's going to give me a little bit of a breathing space here, maybe I can be the one to strangle him instead. So Killer now going to be formulating his own plan of attack, given this extra space in the early phase.
Mong's got the full scout here, but Killer, his first order of business should be to deal with that SCV, get rid of that scout so that he can pull out some sort of cheeky play here. Doesn't know about these Marines moving out on the field either. Mong actually looking for an overlord right now. I don't think he's going to find it though.
Yeah, he wants this overlord that's down in the bottom left that's just been chilling and not really been moving at all. So he was hoping that Killer would be super greedy and try and move an overlord into a little bit of a sneaky position to kind of get some value later on, but instead is going to be not able to find anything like that. There's a few additional units now finally coming out from Killer to ward away any potential threat of these Marines coming in and do some damage as they start to take out this SCV. So these Marines definitely won't be coming in there to kill any drone. Oh, they're the 4th Marines coming out, actually. So if he doesn't make any additional links and these are only drones coming out of these eggs, then actually he can come in here and do something with these 4 Marines if he wanted to. But I really doubt he's going to have the audacity to come out here and do that. Surely not. I don't think Mong is going to be that crazy.
No, losing early Marines, especially with the 2 Iraqs play, it would be devastating to Mong. It could potentially, give him a big advantage, but chances are we're going to see at least 6 lings out of Killer. And yeah, there are the 6 lings here at the front. And with the ramp, you're not even going to know if lings are sitting there waiting for you or not. And in this case, Killer is sitting right at the top of the ramp. If you try to walk up there with 6 Marines, you're going to get completely destroyed. And your push out later is going to be much weaker. Killer just takes the entire map, and with his 2.5 hatch play, is it here? Looks like 2.5 hatch from Killer. He's just going to completely dominate that position. So I like Mong kind of moving out there, waiting, making, checking to see if there was an opportunity, but seeing that there's no opportunity, he's just going to head back, go back home with his Marines, and have this nice push out here later with the 2-Rex play.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that assessment. Killer here going to be shutting down this SCV scout, and I don't know how I feel about this game, Sayan. I mean, right now I feel like, you know, Mong's just is such a powerful player when it comes down to the macro phase that if left to his own devices, he's gonna just run away with it. So I really feel like Killer is the one that's gonna have to set the tempo here and bring something to the table in the next few minutes, because his win percentage is only going to go down from here. He's got a window of like say 6 minutes now where he can really start to put the pressure on Mong and maybe find some win conditions in the next like 5 minutes or so. But if he doesn't, then I really feel like Mong's just going to run away with it.
Yeah, Mong, does feel very powerful, but we have to keep in mind his ASL win rate for TVZ is 17%. That's his worst matchup. Is very low on that win rate in ASL. So, you know, overcoming the odds in the first game. But can he repeat that success here? Will he be able to, you know, win out over those statistics here versus Killer? Killer going to be looking to abuse Mong at every turn. The Mutalisks are now heading across the field. How's Mong going to be able to react here? Is he going to be able to take this fight and shove back these mutas efficiently? Or is Killer going to get some serious damage? We're going to find out right now. 5 mutas making their way over here. This is actually a very little commitment to mutas here. I'm surprised that Killer is not going to be more aggressive with these. It looks like he's just going to be going into straight up into his next tech. No more mutas are coming. And a third base is already operational. This is a pretty undefendable third base, though. So the mixture of these two plays is a little bit curious to me. I would have expected a lot more mutas to be able to hold back these Marines so they could actually get this third base online in this spot, because you're not going to be able to defend easily with lurkers here, right?
Yeah, I don't think so at all. It's a little bit precarious actually with lurkers, with how the really good catch from Monglo, already taken down one of those Mutalisks. And yeah, I think so far this looks a little bit bad for Killer, but right now he's actually doing really good in supply against Mong. So it seems like despite everything, he's actually finding himself into a better position, at least on paper. So if he can come in here and clean up this first bio ball really cost efficiently with his Mutalisk micro, I think actually he can just start to snowball his advantage. But right now Mong's moving out of another force, and if he can sneak this force out onto the map without Killer knowing, and Killer's just busy dogging this bio ball outside the natural of Mong, this could be like a lights out situation for Killer if he comes in and kills his third base for free.
Yeah, I think the idea here for Killer was sacrifice any early damage, just realizing that probably Mong is going to be over defending here in the main and natural with a lot of turrets. Sacrifice any early potential for damage and then have a massive Mutalisk force being propelled forward by the 4 hatches with the 3 gas online to just overwhelm the bio here of Mong. But now Mong going to come in with this hit squad, flying into the third base, going after some drones. He's only got 1 drone, but he's going to start to kill this hatchery right now. We've got a small group of mutas, some lings popping out as well. Can he save this hatch or not? It's going to be very close. He's targeting down some Marines now. He does save the hatchery. Big win here for Killer. He's going to be able to transfer those drones back, and Mong going for that hit squad play, not going to pay off here.
Yeah, that's absolutely worst case scenario for Mong, and Killer's going to be loving his position more and more. Going to have new wind in his sails now as he surges out onto the map with his +1 attack on these Mutalisks as well, ready to mop up this bio ball. There is another force coming in to reinforce, though, just in the nick of time before he can come in, though. So there will be some chance for Mong here, but here comes Killer from this flank. Could be starting to take a few shots at these straggling bio units, and it's going to be a little bit tough for Mong to keep all his units in a tight little square. He's not as good at it, not as good at doing that kind of thing as say someone like Light. So it's gonna be easily punished as he comes in with these Mutalisk lings, but nicely positioned actually in a tight enough square that he can actually prevent too much surface area from the lings, and does do a good trade. Now target fires the mutas down 1 at a time pretty efficiently as well. So Mong doing decently, but still Killer coming out on top thus far.
Killer throwing away a bit of that advantage there by sending the lings in a tight into a tight formation of Marines. They didn't get very good surface area, and they didn't tank long enough for the mutas to actually deal real significant damage. So this Marine medic force is still really threatening here in the middle of the map. It's going to be reinforced shortly as well. I was expecting Killer to completely overwhelm over there in the middle of the map, you know, clean up every single Marine and medic in that center position, but he doesn't end up doing so, and now Mong is in a kind of the driver's seat here, sending his first couple of vessels across the map, and it's going to be up to Killer to defend this Marine medic push with lurkers at kind of an awkward third base location.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit precarious, actually. Killer is also supply blocks right now, so if Mong can set up a good siege here, there might be a little bit of a tough situation for Killer to have to navigate. But a lot of radiates going down on these lurkers rather than defilers right now. So Mong is looking like he wants to try and do a little bit of a tempo play and come in here for a moment, but maybe thinking better of it. Instead, going to be needing to save the rest of these irradiates for defilers pretty much only. He needs to make sure he starts sniping those units as soon as he can identify them. You see the list of Killer moving back over to the sort of rally point area of Mong to kind of delay any additional forces being able to come out onto the map and put pressure on this third base from the other side. So right now it looks like Mong's doing a good job of setting up siege from both angles, and he wants to put on pressure from this southern side, and there's two lurkers that have been shuffled back over there after irradiating them. So Mong trying to find some kind of angle of attack right now, but Killer doing a good job of having his timings in check, and everything's kind of like being dealt with in a cost-efficient manner. But beautiful irradiate actually on those couple of mutants, though, not quite reacting quick enough. Does eventually get the split, but a second irradiate comes down. There's a slightly better split the second time around. Here comes the Scourge, going to be warded away by those supporting bio units. So far I would say this is slightly being flipped back into Mong's favor, but Killer's still looking okay.
Yeah, time to sacrifice the oh, it does get one science vessel there. Time to sacrifice the remaining mutas to try and get some of these science vessels killed off, because they're really tearing you apart right now. Oh, he loses the defiler. Where was that headed? Sending the defiler out in a weird angle. Maybe he misclicked on the Nidus there. I feel like that's probably what he was going for, but sends that defiler out to its death. We do have another defiler here, which can be popped through the Nidus at any time. Meanwhile, Killer, he's got to be worried about multiple things right now. He's got to be worried about, you know, drops coming into his main. He's got to be worried about lurkers all being irradiated here. He has to keep the Dark Swarm available at all times, and he's just completely on the back foot right now, not able to do any aggressive action at all against Mong, who's now going to start dropping. He's going to be hitting multiple locations at the same time. Killer really out of the driver's seat right now. He's in the passenger seat. He's just being taken for a ride right now by Mong.
Yeah, I mean, right now Mong is doing a good job of just laying siege to him, and there's some links clearing up some medics over here. There is some dropships available to Mong as well, so he can now be a lot more dynamic and versatile in how he approaches these positions. Now that the swarmers will start to come down, these dropships are going to swing into the third base. There is two Scourge, though. It catches one of those dropships, saying for free. Beautiful pickup for Killer, evening out the odds just a little bit more now. With that pickup going to be making him a smile just a little bit. Killer going to be wanting a little bit more blood for his time, though, so will not be satisfied with that. He's going to have a lot more of a thirst to quench after even just a few kills. He's going to be seeking out more and more victims out on the map with his units, and so far I feel like Killer has all the tools in his arsenal that he needs to find a win here, but so far Mong just seems to be out executing him.
Hydralus Defiler going to be the play here for Killer, and yeah, you're totally right, getting some win back in the sails here. Killer killing that dropship and preventing the drop play really from dealing any damage. Another Defiler going to be irradiated here. Really, you want those Hydras to be present in order to prevent easy irradiates going down on your Defilers, but Killer not having the greatest position with those units ends up losing that kind of for free. He's going to try and take a fourth base at the front. All of these bases are really hard to defend. And we're so used to having, you know, main bases and naturals that are just, you know, simple and easy to defend for the Zerg player. But in this case, basically there's nowhere really safe to take unless you want to go and take another main, which maybe Killer should have done, because now he's going to have like, what, 4 or 5 different locations he needs to defend right now. He's got to defend the natural. He's got to defend the left side of this base, the right side of this base, and the top and bottom of the base in the center right. And maybe that's going to be too much.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, right now Mong is like spreading like a virus. He's the Zerg player right now in terms of, oh, beautiful plague
Oh.
though, catching pretty much all of those vessels. That's a huge plague. Mong might even want to just like consider like retreating and repairing those in a minute, but for the time being, he's going to keep the pressure on and see if he can come into this position and prevent this fourth base from being established. But right now, Killer's looking like he might be able to get that. And that's a big win for him. He needs that fourth gas so critically right now. If Mon could delay that fourth gas any longer, it'd be really hard for Killer to find a good win condition here. But now finally able to take that, there's a lot more life in the veins of Killer.
Oh, no lurkers over here in the center right now. Killer pulling together everything he can to defend this fourth base kind of towards the center. He's gonna eventually get that online, it seems, because Mong is looking for other avenues of attack right now. But Killer heading towards the north. He wants to actually shut down the mining for Mong. Oh, these are all irradiated science vessels or plagued science vessels, so they have almost no HP. Does get the pick on that defiler though. Really needs to pull those defilers away from the army of Mong. Pull them away from the irradiates of Mong in order to get maximum value out of those. I don't know why Killer didn't have that a little bit farther back so that he could snipe down all of those science vessels there. Now coming into the right-hand side. Oh, God, there's just so much going on the map right now for Killer, and this is the problem with having all these spread bases in kind of indefensible positions. He's going to lose somewhere, and he may end up getting forced out of this game now. Mong taking the fight here. Another great plague on a bunch of science vessels hitting from multiple angles here. Lurker coming from the left-hand side. I don't know where that came from, but most of this actually getting cleaned up. Pretty nice job. Pretty nice defiler usage by Killer.
Yeah, I mean, Hydralisk with Defiler, one of the most cost-efficient things in the game against Bio, so does have every opportunity to make this work. So far, the supplies do indicate that he's still doing reasonably well. He's at 112 supply. He's quite a bit behind Mong, but that's okay. He still has very cost-efficient units with this Dark Swarm, so it's a very manageable situation for the time being. As long as he stays above sort of 80 supply, he's always going to have some kind of a defensive fighting hope against this bio threat. And right now he's doing a good enough job of multitasking on both fronts. This isn't necessarily his strong suit right now. I think Mong is slightly favored still, but coming into this right side, if he gets his Nidus Canal, this is going to be critical. He gets the Nidus as well. There is a Defiler there, but losing that Nidus Canal is going to be critical. He will defend for the time being, but he needs to re-establish that Nidus as soon as possible. Big Force, though, in the middle, actually going to be ripping open his position and killing some of Mong's tanks, so this is a little bit of a win for Killer here, taking out these tanks while also defending this third base location. Actually, so far, things have gone pretty well for Killer. As long as he establishes that Nidus Canal again, maybe he's going to be okay.
Yeah, getting the Nidus Canal, very, very important. But Mong's forces got wiped out, and he lost a lot of vessels in that last engage. Plus, the rest of the vessels got hit by that plague. He is now on 4 bases and transferring into a very heavy tank force. They're going to try and sneak a base in the bottom left here. That'll probably be the point of next contention here on the map. Killer has a pretty decent force, but Mong continuing to grow here. That's really what you need to do as the Terran player, just growing and growing on this map. Defiler going to be sniped here on the right-hand side. Doesn't have the energy to throw down any spells. And Mong going to hit this right-hand side while simultaneously taking this fight. Let's see if Killer is up to the task of multitasking in this situation. Nothing over here at the center right. He's going to lose his space potentially.
Yeah, I think he might. There's a Lurker and some Ling Hydra here. I think he just barely clears this up in time. No, he doesn't quite. I thought he had it, but he didn't quite save it. Just barely finishing off that hatchery with the Gauss Rifle with the +3 upgrade. Wow, Mong actually finding a little bit of luck in this game. And now that could be enough to help him seal the deal as he comes through to this 4th base location. A lot of irradiates going down. Here's another beautiful plague, though, from Killer. He comes in to his Mong's 4th base at the top, though, and puts on a lot of pressure. He will just barely clear up this bunker and bio units, but the SCVs could maybe turn the fight on those 2 lone Hydras. There is some additional Lings coming up to put some pressure on, and a small bio force to come and secure that. So I think Mong's going to hold on to that base for the time being, but so far, Killer's looking like a little bit of a threat here.
Yeah, Killer does have threats on the map. The bottom left corner is actually a threat right now. If he gets that online, he'll have 5 gases rolling, and you know, he's a bit strapped on gas right now. Plus, the 20-minute mark is just passed, so his main and natural will be mining out soon. In those gas geysers at least. So Killer does need to get more bases online here, but he also needs to hold this base that he's secured. This fourth base, so important. He's gonna shove forward here, but tanks raining down hell from the high ground, hitting all these hydras as they try to push forward. This is why this base is so hard to hold. Damn, that is crazy that Mong's found that great position here on top of that high ground ridge. How are you ever supposed to hold this base as Zerg, as Killer? And why did he try to think he could do so in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. Right now we see a little bit of a counterattack, though, coming up here. Oh, the Firebat's going to be beautifully shutting that down. Mong is actually, like, showing us that maybe, like, even though this is his weakest matchup, he's got such an abysmal record in it, he can still hold his own when he finds himself in these positions. He needs to be careful not to lose too many bar units to this lone lurker. Does manage to take that out. He's been quite fluid with his army movements in this game and being really high APM intensive. He's showing that he's kind of like learning his lessons from times past, but there are some issues that he's still struggling with, and he's not very good at protecting his tanks when he's playing biomech like this, and he keeps losing them to Killer in the center of the map over and over again, like we see now for free. It's just a little bit of a devastating situation, but it doesn't really matter. He's coming to the bottom left and killing the science cap before any Divider can make it in. He's gonna lose his base for free, and shutting off that gas supply will also come into the third base, saying and taking this gas out has completely cut off the head of the snake if he comes in here and kills this off as well.
Yeah, Killer just fizzling out here at this point. He took the opportunity to kill the tanks in the middle, but cost him the game here. Nothing coming through that Nidus to save bottom left, and Killer taps out. Mong is victorious, and Team Hero takes the win. All right, no ace match for us today, guys. Team Hero has taken the victory. Team Light gonna go down into that third place slot. Forgot to write it in there, but Team Hero here going to be going up against Team Queen. That should be an exciting match. It's going to be coming very soon, November 29th. Here's Team Queen. So with Barracks there and Toss Girl. Man, Toss Girl versus Cadenzi. That should be an interesting fight as well.
Yeah, I really want to see Tosco. Really want to see Tosco again, and I really do love Zealot, Queen, YSC, right? This is a beautiful team. Team Queen, probably one of the best teams that we've got in terms of overall performance and the absolute quality of players, pound for pound. So I really would love to see what these guys are going to be saying in the finals.
Team Hero putting up those numbers as well. I wonder who they're going to put against Barracks, who has been performing at a very high level recently. Maybe we could see a Hero versus Barracks match. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Hero versus Barracks would be great, actually. And Barracks has been playing so amazingly well recently that I'd like to see that. Really would like to see that. And
maybe Sharp versus Zealot. That would be a fun match. Or Sharp versus Queen could be cool as well. We may end up getting some ZVZ here. We end up getting quite a bit of ZVZ. Of course, we've got Zealot, Queen, Hero, and Saxery all in the lineup. So we might end up getting a lot of that mirror match. We may also get a TVT with Barracks going up against either Mong or Sharp. No male Protoss players here for Heroes, so YSC not going to have to worry about PvP here in this next round, and neither will we. Guys, it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this tournament so far. Hope you have as well. Make sure to jump down into the description, give some love to Shun. Link is going to be down there as well. Please, as always, go over to KCM's channel, give his video a like, and leave a comment. Let him know that we appreciate him. And with that, guys, this round of the KCM is finished, and we'll see you guys in the next one.